Hi greedy 3Ders. Now I decided to treat myself to this Dungeons and Caverns core set from the Army Painter from the Gamesmaster range. Oh my, what a bargain I landed. I went onto the mighty Amazon and look at the price I paid for this, $39.99 for this pack. This pack is immense. Look at what you're getting in here. You're getting 7 18mm paint sets, you're getting 2 50mm paint sets, you're getting brushes, hot cutter, glue, sand, paint. Oh, the list goes on and on and on. Look at that. It's absolutely amazing. What I want to do with you today, if I may, is just take this box apart. Let's see what's inside and let's just revel in that price that we paid for it. Now, when the box first arrived, I thought, surely this isn't all for me. Not for $39.99, but oh my, it is. And look what we get. You get some Dungeon and Subterranean spray paint. This is a 300mm spray paint. It's water-based, so it doesn't destroy the polystyrene. You're going to get some Dungeons base. This is a 50mm paint set on its own. Amazing. What else do we get? Dig in there, Tone. Okay. You're going to get some of this scenery, sand, marvellous stuff. I had some of this in my desert and arid terrain kit and absolutely love it. And you're getting a shed load of that. You're getting 150mm. We are getting, oh, let's have a look. We're getting 77 of these like tufts of grass. We're getting the hot wire cutter. Doesn't come with batteries. Oh dear, oh dear. I think I can afford some at that price. 2 C kind of batteries. You're getting another 50mm of this paint, the Cavern base. The paint just keeps giving and giving, doesn't it? Okay, let's open up this little plastic container that's in here and see what else we have got, what goodies hold. Look at all that paint. Amazing. Right, what's this? We've got some glue. This is some of the sculpturing glue. It's like PVA glue. But again, you've got shed loads of the stuff. You've got 75mm of it. We've got a little wash here, a subterranean wash, an 18mm bottle there. We've got some Dungeon Effects paint, 18mm again. And another darker colour there. Some of the Cavern Effects. All these are really high quality paints. 3 or 4 quid on their own each time. Next is some Dungeon highlights and even lighter colour for some of that dry brushing wonderfulness. And we've got some Brink Black. You can never go wrong with black paint. It's always good to have some. This is some Grotto Slime, a lovely green colour there that you can see. And last but by no means least, what have we got here? We've got some Cavern highlights paints, all 18mm. All Army Painter paints, absolutely fantastic. We've got the obligatory bits of paper that come with it. There's some instructions for the hot glue gun, hot cutter even. I better not lose those. And a few goodies and pamphlets to tell you what else you can spend your hard-earned Wonga on in the Army Painter range. But there's more. The gift that keeps giving. Let's crack open this little plastic pot and see what goodies lie inside. Okay, we've got a kind of Stanley knife cutter that pulls back, a bit of protective one, really nice on its own. That's in there as well. And from a paint section, you've got a mixing palette and you've got 3 brushes, 2 brushes that you could use for dry brushing, fairly decent sizes there with this lovely plastic palette and a little effects brush that you get too. So 3 brushes also. Don't forget, this was $39.99. Oh my, what a bargain. Right, you've got this book. I've had to read through this book a couple of times and it came with my other desert and arid kit and it's really, really good. And there's these little links inside there that if you hover your phone over, it shows you a YouTube video on how to do the effects. Really, really useful. Now, one of the key integral parts to the kit is this XPS foam. And what you're getting here is 6 pieces of this foam board and it's 200 by 300 by 11mm, and that's for making all your ground terrain. But you also get 2 larger pieces and these measure 300 by 400 times 11, 2 of those too. And look what I found lurking below. You've got a nice ruler there, a 12-inch ruler in a little bit of a plastic casing, and finally some sandpaper. What an absolute bargain of items you've got in the kit there. Absolutely amazing. So I think what the next thing we need to do is try to make something with all this stuff and just see what happens. So just using a pen and the ruler, I'm etching into the actual styrene there, and I'm making a doorway, if you like. I'm doing an aliens power loader, and this is going to be the base for it, so I've just designed this myself to look like an alien door. And on the base for the actual model itself, I've used a bit of tin foil in a ball, and I'm going to roll it across to add some texture to the ground. Simple. Right, this actual cutter is a marvellous bit of kit. It takes 2 C batteries that fit in there, as you can see, and there's a switch on the side that instantly heats it up. Now make sure you do not burn your fingers. It is instant heat, and it's absolutely fabulous. Right, and using that, I'm just going around the edge to make sure I give it a little bit of a spurious look. I don't want it to look too even, and I'm also going over the corner bit of the edge to make it look like rocks, because that's the effect I'm after, and I don't want it to be too even. And that was really, really easy to do. Make sure you put that down somewhere safe, and I always take the batteries out just to make sure it doesn't heat up when I don't want it to. Next, moving on to these things. These are just packaging bits of polystyrene, and I've used some toothpicks and I've put them into the base. Now, these didn't come with it. You could make them out the polystyrene that comes with it, I guess, but I had these lying around, so I did it, and I used the glue, and oops, the lid came off. Just make sure your lid is on properly. Bit of a faux part for old Greedy 3D there, but luckily I'm putting loads of these rocks on, so I just spread the glue out and it worked in my favour, but that could have been a bit messy. Once all the rocks are on, I've put a bit more glue in place, and I'm going to use this sand. Now, this sand that comes with it is really messy. It's great, it's really good, but just make sure you've got somewhere clean and tidy you can do it, that you can vacuum it up. It's probably worth doing it on a tray of some kind so you can reuse any sand that overspills, but it did make a bit of a mess, and Greedy had to get the vacuum out. To glue the 2 pieces together, I'm using the glue that comes with this. Now, I did find that it was okay, but I needed to back it up with a few toothpicks. So what I also did was to join that gap that you can see when the 2 pieces are joined together. I kind of just filled that gap with some of the glue, rubbed it down with my finger, and then I took some more of the sand, and I'm going to use that to try and fill it up. As I say, it wasn't a perfect fit. I had to have the toothpicks in there to do it, but the sand effect really does cover it up nicely, and you can't see it, and I'm chuffed with how it's looked. As you can see, toothpicks, cocktail sticks, wherever they're called where you live, that's what I used to hold it in place, and they were perfect. And that's what it looks like. I mean, you know, it looks like a basic construction there, and that's what it is, but when it's painted, it really, really will come to life. So let's take it across to the man cave, and I'm going to pick up the terrain primer here, and I'm going to give it a blast all over with that. Make sure you wear some respiratory protection and give it a good old blast. Now, it can run, so just be a bit careful, not too thick, not too much. I did have a couple of runs, but that's my mistake, not the actual material. And once that had been allowed to dry, I took some of the Cavern base, and I didn't dry brush this on, but I did just take a bit of the paint off the brush and put it all around the black area. I didn't want to get any of this on your rocks, so try and keep it off your stones and your rocks, and just give it a base layer. Now you can see that there's some of the black shining through, which is exactly what we want. We just want to give this an effect of brown over the black, and again, steer clear of your rocks and your stones. Once you've got that on, I took some of this, the dungeon base, and I did exactly the same, but this time to the stones and the rocks. I gave them a coat, avoiding the brown as best I could. If you get a bit of overspill, it's not a game changer, but just try to keep it on the rocks and the stones if you can. And those bits of polystyrene rocks there really, really are looking fantastic. Don't forget your edging as well. Once that is done, I've took some of this subterranean wash, and I've just filled some of the nooks and crannies with this, and I've let it pool in places, and I've rubbed it across other places, and it really does add a greeny, huey wash to it. I'm really impressed with this wash, actually. I've not used this one before. I'm really, really pleased with how that turned out. Onto something that doesn't come with it now, just some metallic silver, which I'm going to do the door in. As I say, this doesn't come with it, but I've just shown you the process here because, you know, I've made the door out of something that did come with it using the ruler and a pen, and that just looks like an aliensy door. And just to tidy it up, I've just put a little bit of a light brown wash on there, which didn't come with the pack, but just to add a little bit of wear and tear to the door. As I say, it didn't come with it, but for completeness, this is how I did the door. Moving back to what did come with it now, and you've got some of these dungeon highlights, and I'm going to use these to highlight some of the rocks that you can see there and the stones to give them an added layer. I did dry brush this on the top, And moving on to the higher dungeon effects now. This is like a white paint, I guess, straight on top of the rocks, just on the edges and around the edges of the boulders, and that's done a brilliant job on those. Using some cavern highlights this time, I'm going to highlight some of the brown, and again dry brushing it on, just you can see, can't you, just adds another layer of colour, another effect around the edge, and it just takes more eye off one particular point and makes it just look like it is made of soil. And then the cavern effects is a really lighter colour, and I've just gone around the edge of that really. And once that's done, and I've done a few other bits and pieces, that is pretty much the painting process done. Now, it was simple, it was quick, it was easy. I've never used a base making bit of kit before, so this is my first ever effort. And just to finish it all off, I'm going to put some of these little grass tufts on, and that's it. Shall we have a look at what it looks like and have a chat about what we think the end result is like? So I've never used anything like this, and the process was easy. The paints were excellent quality, as you'd expect from the army painter. The materials were also excellent, and it all came together really well. I followed the instructions in the manual that came with it, and everything has turned out as I expected it to. I paid just under 40 quid for it, which was an absolute bargain, a bargain. However, that was a sale price. If you want to buy this now, the price has gone up to 78 quid, just under 79 of your hard-earned Wongas, but that is still an excellent price to pay for a piece of kit that contains so much and will allow you to make absolutely amazing bases. This definitely gets the greedy 3D thumbs up. The money I paid for it was ridiculous. It's almost daylight robbery, but this is still a bargain at this price. If you priced all the bits separately, which I haven't done to be fair, I am confident it would cost you an absolute fortune more than that £80, because that's the army painter way. They're pretty consistent from history. I would suggest, if you want one of these and you've got 80 quid and you want to make bases, buy it. Thanks for tuning in. You can find the item in the item description if you want to buy it, and I'll see you next time on Greedy 3D.